Hey there, watch enthusiasts. Welcome back to another exciting episode of The Steady Ticker. I'm Joe, one of your go-to friends when it comes to all things about luxury watches. And here with me is...
Joel, your other go-to friend who's also passionate about luxury watches. For this video, a timepiece that needs no introduction in the watch community, the Omega Seamaster. But as much as we adore this iconic watch, we're not here to just sing its praises.
That's right, today we'll talk about something that's equally important, and it's the 5 big problems with the Omega Seamaster. Now, before you brandish your pitchforks and torches, we want to make it clear that we love the Seamaster, just like many of you do, but that doesn't mean we can't discuss some areas where even the finest watches may have room for improvement.
Indeed, and remember, our goal is not to criticize for the sake of it, but rather to engage in a passionate conversation about these timepieces that we adore. So whether you're an Omega enthusiast or just a casual viewer, stick around as we delve into the nuances of the Omega Seamaster and discuss what could be done even better.
It's going to be a balanced and honest exploration of one of the most iconic dive watches in the world. So without further ado, let's get into the 5 big problems with the Omega Seamaster.
The first issue on the Omega Seamaster is its lack of sizes.
A lot of you may have noticed that when we talk about the Omega Seamaster, one of the aspects that has stirred quite a bit of conversation is its size. Now, before we dive into this, it's essential to understand that the Seamaster has undergone some changes in its size over the years.
Good point, Joe. The Seamaster's sizing has evolved, and not everyone is thrilled about it. Previously, the watch came in a 41mm case size, and there was even a mid-size 36.2mm variation available, but things changed in 2018 at Baselworld.
Yeah, that's when Omega decided to give the Seamaster a modern update. They added a ceramic bezel and discontinued the mid-size variation. The watch's case size was bumped up to 42mm. At the time, this seemed to align with the trend in the watch industry towards larger timepieces.
Exactly, but as we know, watch trends are always evolving. In recent times, we've seen a shift towards smaller watches gaining popularity. For example, at Watches and Wonders, Tudor introduced the Black Bay 54, a 37mm stainless steel driver, which received a lot of attention.
It's safe to say that the pendulum is swinging back towards smaller watches, and that's where the issue with the Seamaster sizing comes into play. The 42mm size might not sit well with those who prefer a more understated and traditional dimension on their wrist.
And that's why, despite all the love we have for the Seamaster, the size is something that can make us think twice about owning one. It's essential to feel comfortable with the watch you're wearing, and for some, the Seamaster's sizing can be a stumbling block.
Absolutely. While some might appreciate the larger size, it's essential to remember that personal preference plays a massive role when it comes to watches, so sizing is the first big problem to consider when it comes to the Omega Seamaster.
Now, moving on to our second point, we've got to discuss the ever-divisive helium escape valve, or HEV, that's found on the Omega Seamaster. This is a topic that's bound to elicit a range of opinions.
Right, as you may know, the helium escape valve is a feature that has become almost synonymous with the Seamaster, especially in the context of professional divers' watches. It's intended to release helium that might accumulate inside the watch during deep-sea diving, but it's essential to weigh the pros and cons here.
On the positive side, the presence of the HEV can be seen as proof to the Seamaster's deep-sea diving capabilities. It's a feature that's there for a reason, and for those who engage in saturation diving, it can be quite useful.
But, and here's where we get into the nitty-gritty of this debate, some watch enthusiasts have reservations about the HEV, particularly its size and shape. It's not uncommon to hear the HEV being compared to a toothpaste cap, which can be a bit off-putting for some.
It's essential to note, though, that when you actually have the watch on your wrist and wear it in everyday life, the HEV might not be as bothersome as you initially think. In practice, it's less distracting, and its presence might not be a deal breaker for most wearers.
Nevertheless, I think it's fair to say that the size and shape of the modern HEV can be a point of contention among watch enthusiasts. If you're someone who's more inclined towards a sleek and clean design, this might be one of the aspects of the Seamaster that you'd like to see refined.
And speaking of refinement, I can't help but look back at some of the older models, such as the reference 2254.50 Seamaster, where the HEV had a smaller and, dare I say, a more aesthetically pleasing design. It's a detail that makes you appreciate how design elements have evolved over time.
It's indeed fascinating to see how design elements can change throughout the years. So that's our second point of discussion, the helium escape valve. What do you guys think? Do you appreciate the HEV as a functional aspect, or do you find this design somewhat polarizing? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Moving forward, let's tackle the third issue that we've got with the Omega Seamaster, and that's the bracelet. Now, we have to admit that this is a topic where our opinions differ.
You're right, Joel. The bracelet on the Seamaster is a matter of personal preference, and I know there are enthusiasts out there who love it. However, it's important for us to express our honest views, and for me, the bracelet is a feature that doesn't quite resonate with my taste.
It's true, Joe. Now, don't get me wrong, the Seamaster's bracelet is not without its merits. There are aspects to appreciate, such as the great diver's extension and the overall functionality it offers. It's designed with diving in mind, and in that context, it does its job exceptionally well.
But, and here's where we get into the love it or hate it territory, the bracelet's aesthetic might not sit well with some watch enthusiasts, myself included. It has an intricate, almost 90s to a fault design that for me doesn't quite hit the mark.
I agree, and when I look at the bracelet, I can't help but think of some other watches with more understated and streamlined bracelet designs that I personally find more appealing. The Seamaster's bracelet, while undoubtedly functional, might not be considered overcomplicated by those who prefer a cleaner and a more modern look.
That's the thing actually, the Seamaster is a watch with a lot of character, and the character extends to the bracelet. It's one of those features that might either embrace as part of the watch's identity or find it a detractor, depending on your taste.
And that's the beauty of the watch community, diversity in preferences. So while I might not be a fan of the Seamaster's bracelet, it's essential to remember that some people genuinely love it. After all, watches are very personal choices, and that's what makes them so fascinating, right?
So that's our third point of contention, the bracelet on the Omega Seamaster. What's your take on this, folks? Do you appreciate its design, or do you find it a bit too 90s for your taste? Let us know in the comments.
Now let's talk about the fourth issue that we've encountered with the Omega Seamaster, its skeletonized hands. This is one of those topics that truly divides the watch community.
That's no doubt. Skeletonized hands are a feature that some people adore and find to be a unique characteristic of the Seamaster's design. However, it's crucial to remember that this is highly subjective, and for others, like us, it can be somewhat polarizing.
Indeed, when it comes to skeletonized hands, it's a matter of personal taste. Some find them intriguing and appreciate the intricate, open design. But for me, I lean towards a different preference. I find that the skeletonized hands on the Seamaster, particularly on certain models, might compromise legibility.
That's a valid point. Legibility is a critical aspect of a watch, especially in diving situations where quick and precise time reading is essential. And this is where we see the contrast with other types of hands, like sword hands, which are often considered to be more legible.
Exactly. If you compare the Seamaster with other watch models that feature sword hands, you might notice a difference in how quickly and clearly you can read the time. It's not that skeletonized hands are inherently bad, but it's important to weigh their aesthetics against their practicality.
And that's what makes watch collecting so fascinating. It's a field of interest where personal preference and opinions play a significant role. While some may admire the skeletonized hands for their uniqueness and charm, others may gravitate towards a more straightforward, legible design.
It's now time to tackle the fifth and the final reason in our list of 5 big problems of the Omega Seamaster, and it's a bit of a love-hate relationship that we have with this timepiece.
That's right. You see, when it comes to the Omega Seamaster, there's something quite fascinating about it. We absolutely adore the design, and the movement is top-notch. It's a watch that's packed with so much to love.
It really is. The Seamaster's design is unlike any other, with its signature lyre lugs that flow into the scalloped bezel and the iconic wave dial motif. It shows a sense of fluidity and purpose, making it a real head-turner.
And let's not forget the movement. With the caliber 8800 and its coaxial escapement, the Seamaster is not just a pretty face, it's a precision instrument that can take on the challenges of deep-sea diving with ease.
So here's the problem. We love this watch, okay? And we believe that it's one of the most interesting and best value mid-tiered dive watches that you can buy. It's a true gem in its own right.
Yeah, but, and this is a big but, there are just enough quirks and issues that have, so far, prevented us from actually pulling the trigger and adding the Seamaster to our collection. It's a bit of a heart versus head situation.
Indeed, the price point for the Seamaster is no small matter, and when you're investing in a luxury watch, you want it to be just right. So here we are in a state of internal conflict, admiring a watch so much, yet not being quite able to bring ourselves to buy it.
It makes me wonder, what could Omega do to make us finally pull the trigger? Maybe a re-release of the mid-size variation we discussed earlier, or some refinements in the aspects we've highlighted. It's food for thought, and it's an evidence to the passionate and ever-evolving watch collecting community.
Well, there you have it, the 5 big problems with the Omega Seamaster, laid out for all of you to see. But hey, before you go tossing your watch out the window, remember, every timepiece has its quirks. It's all part of the adventure, right?
Right, Joel. So whether it's the pesky bezel alignment or the tricky lume, don't let these hiccups overshadow the fact that the Omega Seamaster is still a legendary dive watch in its own right. Embrace the quirks, flaunt that classic design, and dive into your next adventure with style.
Want to hear more about watches? Hit that subscribe button below to support the Steady Ticker channel and click the notification bell to instantly know about our new videos on luxury watches. See you in the next one.